Okay, the first difference to know is that the two-person Lynx takes longer to set up, coming in at about 6.5 minutes, or roughly 2 minutes more than the one-person Lynx. That's because you have a bigger Rainfly to set up, 4 extra pole clips around the tent, 1 extra vestibule, and 2 extra Rainfly vents at the bottom. On the other hand, the one-person Lynx takes just, you might have guessed it, just 4.5 to about 5 minutes to set up. The setup process for both tents is mostly the same though, with 2 orange poles crisscrossing each other to be secured into the grommets at the corners of the tent, as well as the pole clips on the tent body. And the Rainfly is to be secured to the tent via these super quick user-friendly buckles. The next difference is in the peak height. The one-person Lynx has a peak height of just 37 inches, and I'd recommend using a pad of no more than 3 to 4 inches inside this tent. If you're really tall, like 6 feet and above, you might want to go with an even thinner pad like my 1.5 inch thick Sea to Summit pad here, so the pad wouldn't eat into your livable space too much. On the other hand, the two-person Lynx has a peak height of 47 inches, which is a whopping 10 inches taller. That's a huge difference. It was so roomy for me that I could fit not just a 4-inch thick pad inside this tent with plenty of headroom left over, but I could fit even a 6-inch thick mattress still with lots of headroom left over. In fact, when I was deflating both my pads, I could crouch inside no problem at all to deflate them. You could fit taller mattresses inside this tent, but that would probably eat quite a bit into your livability, so I wouldn't really recommend it. As for the base dimensions, the one-person Lynx has a length of about 88 inches and the width comes in at about 31 inches, so I could fit up to extra wide pads of 25 inches or even 30 inches, although that might be pushing it a little bit. As for the two-person Lynx, it has a length that's about the same as the one-person Lynx of 89 inches, while the width is slightly less than double at about 59 inches. So I could fit not just 2 regular sleeping pads with plenty of leftover space, I could even fit a slightly smaller than queen-sized mattress like this ALPS Mountaineering Vertex Airbed that I have here, and this measures about 80 by 56 inches, so it fit perfectly into the tent because remember, the width of the two-person Lynx isn't long enough to squeeze a full queen bed in. The one-person Lynx comes with just 1 vestibule, which has a longest width of about 28 inches, and this gave me a vestibule area of about 8.5 square feet. As for the two-person Lynx, it comes with 2 vestibules, each with a longest width of about 31 inches, which means a vestibule area of about 9.5 square feet, which is a whole square foot bigger than the one-person Lynx. Together, both vestibules give you about 19 square feet of vestibule area alone, which is incredible. When it comes to the doors of each tent, the one-person Lynx has just 1 door on the same side of the vestibule, and this door has dimensions of about 36 by 27 inches, so not the biggest. The two-person Lynx has 2 doors, both are exactly the same. There's 1 door at each length of the tent, each with dimensions of 41 by 39 inches, so way bigger than the door on the one-person tent. That plus the high peak height of the two-person Lynx makes it pretty easy to get in and out of the tent through either of the doors, especially because I'm not very tall. Weirdly enough, I expected the two-person Lynx to have double the storage options of the one-person tent, but it doesn't. The one-person Lynx has 2 pre-attached pockets inside the tent, plus 1 more removable pocket that goes here on the side of the tent. It also has 1 lantern loop at the top of the tent. The two-person Lynx also has the same 2 pre-attached pockets and 1 gear loft, but I guess the gear loft is quite a bit bigger, so that counts for something at least. It also has just 1 lantern loop, so basically almost the same storage options as the one-person Lynx. Another difference I noticed is in the Rainfly design. What I like to look for in a good tent is whether the Rainfly can be pulled away from the tent body at all 4 sides. And unfortunately, the one-person Lynx can't do that at the 2 short widths of the tent because there's no stake loop there for you to guide out. The Rainfly is right up close to the tent body, at most 2.5 inches away. Not that great for sure. Thankfully, at least there's the vestibule that's pulled away at the front, and the back of the tent can be pulled away as well. As for the 2-person Lynx on top of the 2 vestibules of this tent, one at each length, I was also able to attach my own guidelines and guide the widths of the tent out. This gave me a small vent at each width that's about 11 inches away from the tent body, much better than the 2.5 inches of the 1-person tent. This is much better for rainy day ventilation and also to reduce any condensation inside the tent. Weirdly enough, there is actually more mesh on the 1-person Lynx than on the 2-person Lynx. For the 1-person tent, while there's quite a lot of fabric at the front, the sides and back of the tent are a little bit better. About half of these sides are covered in mesh. I would estimate maybe 40% of this tent is covered in mesh. However, for the 2-person Lynx, because of the 2 doors of the tent, I think, the back and front of this tent have so much fabric. Only the sides have a little less fabric and a little more mesh. For this tent, I'm guessing that only 30% of this tent is covered in mesh, maybe even less. Thankfully though, there's a lot more cross ventilation in the 2-person Lynx. If you're planning to use this tent in summer, and if there aren't too many bugs around where you're camping, you can always leave the 2 doors open for lots of cross ventilation, and this cuts down on the stuffiness inside the tent. On the other hand, for the 1-person Lynx, it's going to be a lot stuffier in the summer because of the lack of cross ventilation. As for weight, the 1-person Lynx weighs exactly 4 pounds for everything, while the 2-person Lynx weighs exactly 6 pounds for everything that came in the box. So like all the stakes and guidelines and stuff, I didn't change anything out. As for the pack size, the 1-person Lynx comes in at about 19.5 by 7 by 5 and a bit inches, while the 2-person Lynx comes in at about 22 by 8 by 7.5 inches. Okay, I know that this is a packed volume of almost 2 times the size of the 1-person, but it really doesn't look all that big. It's actually only about 10 to 15% longer. As for pricing, I bought both these tents quite a while ago, so I can't remember the exact price I paid for both tents, but I just checked Amazon and it seems like the 2-person Lynx is only about 20 to 30 bucks more expensive than the 1-person Lynx. If you found this video helpful so far, please help me hit that like button. It really helps the video out in the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. Overall, both the ALPS Mountaineering Lynx tents are great, especially for their insane price point. But in my opinion, and this is my opinion only, I prefer the 2-person Lynx to the 1-person Lynx, and here are the reasons why. 1, I don't usually camp alone, so it's always nice to have the options to fit more pads, and even an almost entire queen bed. 2, it has a whole 10 inches more in headroom, which really adds a lot to your comfort inside the tent, and I could fit mattresses as thick as 6 inches while still feeling comfortable. 3, there's 1 extra vestibule, bigger vestibules, 1 extra door, and bigger doors at that as well, so that also adds to comfort and just general user friendliness, not to mention that there's lots of cross ventilation through the doors as well. 4, I really like that I could pull the Rainfly away from the tent body all around the tent for all around ventilation. 5, I love car camping and I don't mind taking on 50% more weight and 15% more in length. That's no issue to me at all. 6, the 2-person Lynx is just 30 bucks more expensive, so I'd definitely spring for that. Yes, I know it takes about 2 minutes longer to set up and everything, but for me, it's totally worth it to spend that couple of extra minutes to set it up, and in return, I get loads more comfort than I do in the 1-person Lynx. On the other hand, if you usually camp alone, if you need to shed that extra 2 pounds in weight, and you prefer a shorter setup time because you're always moving on a trail, then the 1-person Lynx is still a fantastic pick. It's still great bang for your buck for sure. To find out how these 2 ALPS Mountaineering Lynx tents compare to other similar budget tents in the market, check out this video right here. I'll put it up when it's ready. Thank you for watching this comparison video. You're awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.